Alright, back to Bongo Bongo. Let me scroll through the notes. So, we're going to assume that during that time passage, you did find the parts. Just because it's an empty planet. It's not going to be hard to find parts.
Except that it's an empty planet, but okay.
Well, empty in the sense of life. Nobody's going to stop you.
I'll just go down to the old you pull it.
Yeah, nobody's gonna be like, hey, what are you doing?
You mean the old parking lot?
I mean, they're all...
Should I fix my ship, or can I just take any other ship?
There's no other ships.
Just parts.
Yeah, just a lot of parts.
Okay. Weird, but I'll take it.
Well, because of things that happened. That weren't documented.
Reasons. 4 reasons.
Stuff that wasn't documented, or stuff that was documented and then deleted.
I'm going to search my ship for a tracking device.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now he thinks about doing that.
Yeah, I think I thought about it in the last campaign, but you said I couldn't find it.
Yeah, you couldn't the last time you looked for it on this ship.
I figured enough time has passed so I can try it again. What do I roll?
Let's see, that's going to be perception. Which you have a yellow and a green on.
3 horseshoes.
You do not find anything.
Ha-ha!
In fact, you are convinced, now that you've looked over it twice, that there is no tracking device.
Bullshit!
No, you got a threat. Which is the only reason... You got, like, this Imperial symbol thing, which is a threat. Which is the only reason I'm saying that. And you didn't have a horseshoe to counter it.
I thought I had 3 horseshoes.
You did have 3 horseshoes.
Oh, then you do counter it, and you still don't find it, though.
Okay.
Man, Asen hit it good this time.
Yeah, last time it was...
Wasn't a big flashing button in the pilot's seat?
Yeah. Might as well.
No, it's hidden behind the wheel.
You gotta actually take the ship apart to find it. Alright, so where are you gonna head now that you got your ship back in order?
Plot twist, it's a thruster. The whole thruster is
So you can't take off unless it's there.
I guess I'm gonna leave this godforsaken, should-have-been Bongo Bongo Land planet because you decided that's where people go to die.
I didn't decide it. It existed. You just happened to land here.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I know you. I know. I'm joking back. Don't worry. So where you want to head?
If I was DMing and I wanted my players to not be there, I'd say the same thing.
So where do you want to head? You have the whole galaxy open to you. As long as you can actually get there.
Well, I don't know much about this timeline or what's going on in Star Wars.
Well, I mean, if there's...
What's interesting?
Honestly, the only real hook you have
Is that planet.
Is that planet, or you could go to Naboo. There is stuff I wrote down for you to do. And there, if you really want to go home.
Reattempt to Naboo.
Or you can... I mean, I will say from the... Because you did get the astrogation chart for that, the Sith homeworld. It is the closer planet.
I'm going to go to Naboo and try and convince everybody to move to the Sith planet. We're going to invade the Sith ancient homeworld. That's it. I'm going to go home. Well, first off...
I kind of want him to pass this astrogation chart.
If I'm going to do that, then the first thing I need to do is go visit Recon, the ancient homeworld, and see what's going on there.
Okay. That sounds like a plan.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm going to go Recon, and then I'm going to go home to Naboo, become the new Bombad General.
You're going to do what Vishya did? You're going to, like, come up with, like, you're going to fearmonger them into attacking?
No.
No?
No. Just be like, there's a whole planet that isn't a puddle of water that we can live on.
And that humans aren't suddenly appearing on.
Yeah, and we can avoid the whole prequel.
as long
We'll
as
just leave Jar Jar Binks behind. That way everything else can happen the right way.
you'll leave like 2 people behind, so that way they can repopulate Naboo while you guys go to this new world.
Yeah, and that's the clan that you see in the prequels.
I would see at least 10 families, so that you can actually have a real population growth. And
we're gonna colonize the ancient Sith homeworld, and then if anybody tries to invade us, we'll just be like, "Hey, yo, we're Siths. Fuck off," and then they might buy it.
I mean, you have force power, so I mean, although your people see it as like magic, because the force isn't really a known thing yet on Naboo.
Alright, I'm gonna go at least check out the Sith homeworld and see if it's still occupied.
All right,
It's ancient enough.
give me
Hopefully
a.
they've all fucked off by now.
You have a yellow
For what?
astrogation, so that way you can
Bang
easily.
and a horseshoe.
Yep, you're good. And then of course you got a pilot there, so. A yellow and a green for piloting in space.
How many checks to not get lost with me? Oh!
he's
my
shooting
God!
blanks.
I crashed right back to where I came from.
He's
What-
shooting
what-
blanks.
Oh, you're good. They blanked too on this end.
Autopilot.
Yeah, the autopilot got you covered. Asen had a good autopilot built in.
Actually, 2 blanks. I prematurely hyperdrive into a Death Star and destroy it.
So you warp thousands of years into the future?
Yep, that was that bad. I hit 88 miles an hour before I activated the warp drive.
So you could go back to the future?
All right.
I want to do that. Let's go to the Star Wars parts I know, the movies.
All right, so you make
Go
it.
save Qui-Gon Jinn, kill Anakin. You know, those things.
So you basically want to do the Star Wars version of killing Hitler.
Yeah!
Well, then wouldn't you want to just kill Palpatine? Because that's the real problem.
Oh, I don't know. It depends on what my limited knowledge is.
That's true. Well, you're from the past, so you would have no knowledge.
Right. So I need to go to the future first.
You got to go to the future first, learn the things of the past.
Mm-hmm.
Although, your future... Yeah, time travel. Anyways.
Time travel retcon stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, so you make it. You see the planet before you, and it's this fierce storm world, raining,
So Jupiter, the Eye of Jupiter.
except almost the entire planet. You do see actually a civilization, like an actual bustling civilization as you're landing.
Well, I don't want to land yet.
Okay, I'm assuming you're not going in for a landing, but
Do you think I've been detected?
no.
Okay, I want to do some long-range scanning.
Okay,
And
like from how far are we talking? Like you're not even going atmosphere yet.
No atmosphere.
Okay.
Orbital.
Okay.
I don't want to be detected.
There are you can see other ships coming in and out. It's kind of but on the other side. Remember, you're working in space, so you got that extra dimension.
Okay, I'm going to launch a couple probes around the other side, around the planet, so that way I can get some good signal and readouts.
Okay.
Probes.
Alright, so what are you looking for exactly?
I want to know what's going on here.
Just generals?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a Sith world. There's an Emperor.
So,
Are you looking for
is this the current seat of power for the Empire?
For this...
Or is this just an old home world that isn't really that important
It's current.
anymore?
It's a current seat of
Oh, so
authority.
I'm the heart of the Empire right now.
An empire.
Somebody's feeling salty.
But you said it was
Yes.
hidden. It was lost.
No, the world itself is hidden and or lost, but that empire still is recognized as an existing empire.
But it's an empire. How do people not know where the seat of the empire is?
Because people...
I'm a little confused because you said it was a lost home world.
Yes, but that guy found it, remember?
But if billions of people that live on this planet know it's here, it's not really lost, is it?
Not.
To
Okay.
whom was it
Okay.
lost?
Do you want me to put some pieces together for you?
Yeah. To whom was it lost, and why is that important?
Okay. So what you can piece together is that somehow after the ritual that Vitiate did, he led people, any survivors, here.
So himself,
Well, yeah.
according to you.
Well, there's other planets that were under
Okay.
Sith control at the time.
All right.
But he probably led survivors there and claimed... Basically, he claimed that the Jedi genocided his planet and that he became basically a
He
Moses.
killed them all
Yes.
and claimed to save them.
Yeah. And basically, he basically pulled a Moses and said, let's go to this promised land that I found.
Oh my god! But I have proof against all that.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna log into the World Wide Web.
You mean
I'm
the
gonna
galaxy
upload
wide?
all of these files.
But from what you can tell, it's not going to matter because the guy... I mean, this was 1,000 years ago.
But it might abate some current hatred of the Jedi. Peace, man.
I mean, you can throw that out there.
Peace, not war. Flower child.
I mean, at the very least, you can try to throw that out there.
Where you put a flower in the barrel of a gun and the guy just... Even though that didn't historically...
So, do you want to make yourself known by blasting this? Because if you do blast
I want
this...
to do some research into any signals I can interrupt and see if I can find out what their current state of affairs is.
So, like, who's in charge currently,
Current
so on.
politics, current geopolitics. Who are they at war with? Why? What are the proclaimed reasons, anyways?
Alright. So, from what you can tell, the leader is not Vitiate anymore. Because the guy's name is Venar. Is the current leader. The Emperor. He has a council, a dark council that has 12 members on it.
Just throw the word dark on everything. I got you.
It's basically his...
The Legion of Doom.
It's basically his... It's basically like his cabinet.
The Secretary of Dark Interiors.
It's essentially his cabinet, yeah.
The Secretary of Dark Treasury.
So are you gonna like try to get more like personal stuff on these people?
The Supreme Dark Court.
Because if you want
to see all these people going like, it is proclaimed that we are all dark. Yes, evil. Yes, dark.
Go ahead and
a bunch of emo goth kids.
Go ahead and give me computers, which is your green.
Moshing Rangers.
Oh,
sorry.
Hey, you did good. Right, you passed. I'm counting it because it passed. So you actually get into some of the more in-depth knowledge about who's in charge currently, and you get some names. You pull up name Nyrus is one of the council members, and also a what's the name of that guy? I have it in my notes. It doesn't matter. He was killed recently. So actually, there's a gap in the council currently.
Now, with any population, any government system, any society, there are going to be those naysayers, those
Against, yeah.
Hold on, what's the word I'm looking for? This always happens to me. I'm gonna have Alzheimer's in 20 years. Dissenters.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I find them? And more information on them.
Funny enough.
Who are the known dissenters?
Funny enough, there are 5 council members that are against the Emperor.
Did they advertise that? Would I just know that with a Google search?
Not vocally.
Okay.
You know this because of the computer systems that you're getting into. You're getting some older communications and stuff that were secretly sent between parties. You're actually getting a little bit deeper.
I'm going to contact the 5 of them.
Well, there's only 4 now because one of them is the person I mentioned that was dead.
Okay, I'm going to contact the remaining 4 anonymously in encoded and encrypted message saying that I have evidence regarding past events between Darth. Well, I'm not going to actually... I'm just going to say I have evidence that would challenge...
current rule.
What's the freaking words I'm thinking of? It's very important I use the right words. Challenge the accepted history of Jedi versus Sith relations.
Okay. And then you're going to send like the information.
To contact me if they're interested.
And then you're sending the information you got on the thema?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. So you're just saying, hey, I have this information.
Out first.
Yeah, you're saying, I have this information. If you want it, call me back, essentially.
Okay, but hold on. Because they might immediately suspect that, this is an insider trying to get us to reveal who we really are. So I gotta offer them something. Or a code. I never really thought how I would do this.
Well, you also didn't know you would have to do this.
Right.
This is great. Man, so many things that are being passed.
Yeah, I'm going to send that, and I'm going to let them know that if they're interested, they need to reply to my message, and I'll send them information on where to meet me next. And then I'll do like a hijinks trail of like they show up and then they get a clue to go to the next place, and I do that to test to see if they're being followed and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I feel like I'm confident that they're alone and separated, I'll lead them to the information, but not like firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just expose them to it.
I guess we'll cut back to him so that way they can have time to reply to you.
Okay.
Actually, no. One of them somebody replies to you right away.
Okay.
First person that replies to you is actually not a member of the Dark Council. You get a immediate message from somebody who's calling himself Scourge.
Oh, that's not somebody I want to meet. Is that his username or his real name?
That's his name.
So the guy immediately responds to me and says, "My name is Scourge."
And he says, I actually have some information you may want in return.
Is my connection secure?
Yes.
Am I being tracked?
No.
Okay.
He's in his message, he says, I actually know the location of a Jedi on this planet who is being held prisoner, who could be helpful.
Does this guy have meta knowledge? Just a random, as far as this guy knows, because I didn't send him the message, right?
He intercepted.
Okay.
Let's just say
shows up.
Let's just say
untracked message gets sent to one of the 4 dissenting leaders and says, "I have knowledge or potential important knowledge on Jedi-Sith relations, challenging the historical narrative. Contact me if interested." In Mr. Scourge, it's like bleep as soon as I send it, like he's already back on it.
Well, he was just at the right place at the right time.
I'm gonna ignore the message.
Okay.
For now.
Okay.
Guy named Scourge says there's a Jedi down here. Maybe you want to come get it. That's a trap.
Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
It is.
Okay.
Yep. Not going on to the. I'm not going to the Empire Sith homeworld surrounded by Siths and Empire supporters to talk to a guy named Mr. Scourge.
He's actually Lord Scourge. He's actually a lord.
Oh my god. No thanks.
Oh, but you'll talk to a Nyrus or, you'll talk to people on the council for the Sith Emperor, but okay.
If they're supposed dissenters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why am I going to tell a Sith guy that I have information challenging his narrative? Oh, a trap, you say?
Okay. Alright, well, while you're waiting on the rest of the replies, I guess we'll go back to Bartimus. So you finally return to Duxon. Kelborn kind of just sits you guys down and quickly explains that Kavar had managed to get safe passage for for you guys from Queen Talia to return to Onderon. But, unfortunately, that offer might not be good anymore. So the morning that you guys arrived back on Duxon, unfortunately, Vaklu, the general guy that was opposing Queen Talia, unfortunately, he met with the Onderonian War Council and declared Talia had committed treason. So currently there's a civil war that has fallen on Isis. Vaklu's side doesn't have as much support from the people, but the Sith Triumvirate and their assassins have begun to make their way to Onderon to help Vaklu. No surprise. The Mandalorians do believe, though, that Talia won't last the night because of that. Duxon has also been receiving some Sith visitors recently, making their own base of operations on the moon itself.
Right.
The moon you guys are now on. So, despite this, Kreia will say that you guys should probably split up to ensure that Talia is successful. Basically, split forces, attack both fronts. Mandalore disagrees. He thinks that you guys should just confront the single issue head on and deal with the other one after. Is there any debate as to what you think?
I personally am going to side on the Mandalorians, on Mandalore's idea, proposal, what have you.
That it be a single force?
Yeah. A united front is a strong front.
Mitra speaks up and says, well, I kind of disagree.
Where are you coming from?
Well, there's a lot of us anyways. I mean, I think... Because the problem is... Well, where are you thinking we should attack first?
I wasn't thinking of attack. I was thinking of get representatives from both parties together to discuss this out and see where both parties are actually coming from.
Well,
and then we can piece together.
Unfortunately, I agree. I would agree with that option normally, but I think, unfortunately, with how things are currently going along, we might be too late for that to have worked out. It sounds like Vaklu doesn't want to change his position, and it appears he's backed up by those who would not allow him to, even if he did. While I agree with your stance, I don't think that stance can be taken anymore.
I see. Well,
I do have an idea of who could lead the Duxon half of the defense, and I do think that you should be with me when we go to Onderon as part of our team. I also think Senna should join us, as should B9.
Yes, I concur.
Basically,
the core team.
The non-NPs, the main player characters should be on Onderon. Is basically her argument. And I'm guessing there's no...
At this point, wouldn't Asen be more apt to taking over for B9, considering his weakened state?
Well, B9's not horrible yet at this point.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
I'm just considering the whole cancer thing.
Well, since they're not... He's still got 2 years... Well, a year and 11 months left.
Right.
So, it's not like he's falling apart yet. I'd say within the last 3 months he'll be like that, but...
Yeah.
They both could go theoretically right now, since technically they're both on NPC alert. So they could both join on Onderon together.
Right.
Although he probably wouldn't allow that. He'd have somebody stay on the ship.
Yeah.
Knowing Jeff, he'll probably send Asen to Onderon and he'll stay on the ship.
Yeah.
Okay. So Asen's with you guys.
Cool.
So you, Asen, Senna, and Mitra. So Mitra discusses a plan of how the party should probably be split. Dustil will lead the defense on Duxon.
Okay.
and the rest of the party kind of doesn't care how they'll be split. Mandalore, HK, Hanhar, and Leela will go with Dustil. Everybody else will be with your team. So you got Mitra, Kreia, Mikhail. I'm trying to think who else is left. There's a lot of NPCs to keep track of. Anyways, everybody else is with you.
Okay. And since this is broken out into Civil War, who's going where? Should I go toward Talia's front and have things united there? What's going on?
Well, right now the plan is that you guys. So now that you've figured out who's splitting up with who, so they send off the Duxon team to go off and do their thing. Meanwhile, okay, I gotta make some quick notes. All right. Okay, so basically, who was left? What's his name? Kelborn, the Mandalorian. He says that the plan is for you guys to ride in on a Basilisk War Droid down to Isis, and this will be used against them as one of... So basically, you guys are going to ride on that in order to kind of make your way into save the day, because at this point, everything's going down. Plan is to try to get into the palace and save who's left. Basically, hopefully Queen Talia is still there. Hopefully you can reach her and Master Kavar. If you can get both of them, then you can probably deal with Vaklu and whoever's left. Because more than likely Vaklu himself is dealing with Talia. And if you can get rid of Vaklu in some way, then you can probably end the war. Does that sound like a...
Sounds good. Let's go and try and find Talia.
All right. So, let's see. All right, time to fight some things. It's actually time for combat.
Yeah.
So you see a bunch of Sith and a bunch of soldiers and a bunch of creatures on your way there. You remember the Bomas things that I sent a picture of a while back? So you can see that the Sith are kind of controlling the creatures using like mind tricks and all that. So you can you initially land in like the big open market area, which has been like bombarded and all that. Yes. There you go.
Thank you.
So it's been like bombarded, and it's definitely not the market you remember when you were first here. And you can see that the main ways are kind of clear, but there's like a few Sith here that you can kind of deal with, and they see you as well. Do you want to make the first move? So right now you see about 2 Sith, 6 soldiers, and a Boma.
Well, are they coming at me with intent to kill?
Yes.
The lightsabers are already drawn and everything?
Yep, because they've been expecting. Especially when you come down on a Basilisk War Droid. Which is Mandalorian technology, so they know the Mandalorians are involved now.
How many are there?
2 Sith, 6 soldiers, and 1 Boma currently in your way.
Perfect.
Or you just...
I'm willing to bind them all.
All right.
With the intent to break their back.
Oh. Even the poor Boma?
Except the Boma.
Because honestly, if you get rid of the Sith controlling them, then...
Right. So let's see. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. 16 lights. And 2 blacks.
I think that works. So immediately the Sith and soldiers go, "Ah!" And you can hear the of their backs, and they kind of just collapse. And as soon as they collapse, the Boma is like, "Rrr, rrr," and it starts to feed on the Sith and soldiers as it's now been freed.
Does it swallow them whole, or do they slowly like?
It's kind of tearing it apart, going into it like a rabid dog. Although it's a little bit bigger.
I walk up. Well, I walk up at a safe distance, so I'm not ravaged by those damn things, and be like, "This didn't have to go this way," but I'm pissed.
All right. And the Boma kind of looks up at you, and you feel like it's smiling at you, but you don't know. And it kind of runs ahead of you and starts to eat more of the enemies ahead of you, freeing its brothers.
Good.
So let's see. So you actually because of this chain of events, you actually make it along the way with no other issues, because there's 23 other Bomas that get freed. So you just hear, "Ah! Who released these things? Ah!" And you just kind of hear like the dying screams of everybody.
As I'm sitting there, like, casually walking into town.
Yeah.
I draw my pike and sword.
So eventually you make your way to the actual palace.
Right.
In the palace, you see an old enemy, Tobin.
Who's that again?
The colonel that works for Vaklu. The one who...
Enemy?
He shot you guys down,
Ah.
and then he was the one that attacked you guys when you had your meeting with Kavar. And so...
Force pull him to me.
You also see, along with him, a Sith creature that's trying to get to the Queen, as the door in front of them is kind of force field shut.
Oh, a creature's going after the
No, after the Queen, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna fucking snap that bastard's back, too.
Instead of Tobin?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get rid of the creature, and the guys look at you and they're like, "Oh!" Because there were Sith that were kind of controlling it, but not exactly.
Right.
And then Tobin's like, "Hey, don't just be bewildered. Get them."
Don't do it.
And Tobin starts to
You
shout.
don't want to do that.
As those guards start to...
I swear to Christ, if you guys come after me, you will horrifically die.
Tobin quickly shuts the door between you guys.
What's the door made out of?
It's pretty strong metal. It's not... It's going to be anti-lightsaber.
Ah, okay. Well, no need for a door when I can just rip the motherfucking thing down.
Tobin does say, like, after he shuts it, you get, like, a call on the little computer right next to the door.
Mm-hmm.
And you see Tobin, and he says, I'm impressed you've made it this far, but you are too late. Soon the Queen will be dead, and General Vaklu will be the new king.
Like hell he will.
This is no ordinary door between us. The same material is used for the whole of capital-class vessels. I'm afraid you will find it quite impregnable.
The door might be impregnable, but the walls around it aren't. And I click the thing down and I click the thing off. Oh shit. Again.
You gotta hope. You have to hope, though, that this isn't the,
holocron
or
holoprojector.
No, the type of door, type of wall. that holds
a
up.
load-bearing wall?
Yeah, load-bearing.
I'm going to make a quick check before I go out.
We could always do a high or low.
Yeah, let's do that.
Alright, high good, low bad?
High good.
It is a load-bearing wall.
Fuck. Okay, I'll still make a hole in it.
Okay, just like enough to get through?
Yeah.
Okay. And at this point, Kavar kind of joins you from around the corner. He's like, "Oh, there you guys are.
Come on in."
And like he's coming from like one of the corners that were not locked by the door because there were like two other paths.
Right.
And he comes around and he's like, "Well, I figured you would have helped us out this way, but yeah, sure."
Bring the men in too.
And so a few soldiers follow him, and you guys make your way, and you see Tobin there, still like the shield behind them, so they still haven't made it to Queen Talia.
Yeah. I got 16 light and 4 black. I'm just gonna crack their backs, break them.
All right, there goes Tobin and everybody else.
Yep.
All right, and so Kavar's like, "Well, I guess there's no reason for this door anymore." Opens it, and so it's not really a door; it's like a energy shield type thing. But yeah,
right.
So, anyways, you guys are now able to get through that. And so you see Vaklu himself has already gotten there. And he's actually in the middle of fighting Talia. And when you get in there, though, you see like the other soldiers for both sides, and neither of them are interfering. So this is obviously some sort of like strict combat type thing. That's part of their culture. And they're both kind of talking as they're fighting. And Vaklu says, "Your time is at an end, Talia. Your people have abandoned you, and now your life is forfeit." Talia adds back, "You would destroy everything for your ambitions, Vaklu. The Republic, the Empire, ISIS, everything." And he responds, "That is a gross simplification, Talia. Change is a painful process. A price must be paid. But Onderon will have a new destiny, one larger than you could imagine." "You're getting careless, Vaklu. One more mistake, and you're the one who will pay the price." You can hear Vaklu's breaths are becoming more ragged as they fight, and then eventually, because a fight is kind of breaking out between the guards.
And guards are actually fighting now?
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit there and battle meditate on Talia, yeah. Talia.
So she's obviously winning already, and so this on top of that is kind of inspiring the men around her.
Mm-hmm.
And so they easily just take out most of the enemy, along with Kavar and Mitra and everybody that's in the party getting involved. And it doesn't take long before Vaklu starts to try to drag himself over to the throne, trying to get away slightly, and 4 more of his men come from behind it, and he says, "Damn you! Your skill with the blade won't save you from my men. Goodbye, Talia. Fire!" Mitra says, "Your plans here end, Vaklu." "What? The Jedi lives? But how?" "You have underestimated what a Jedi is capable of." Vaklu says, "Kill her and the Queen! Men, quickly! They must not be allowed to live!" And, of course, because of your battle meditation,
it is maxed out, by the way.
Yeah. Everybody but Vaklu's left. And Vaklu is sounding more tired. "You've won this battle, Talia. But your reign won't be an easy one. The Republic and Empire are sinking ships. You're too attached to them." And Kreia says, "He's too dangerous." She's speaking to Talia. "He's too dangerous to leave alive. As distasteful as it is, it might be best to silence him forever. Until he's dead, all of Onderon is in peril." Mitra speaks up and looks at Kreia and is like, "Although I respect your counsel, Kreia, the decision is the Queen's, not ours. Don't you agree?" I'm guessing at this point you're getting out of your battle meditation.
Yeah.
Because the battle's over, essentially. And do you kind of... You hear this conversation going. Do you want to butt in before Vaklu says what he wants to?
Well, I would... Such a dangerous person, such a radical, who has done all of this to you because he disagrees with your way of doing things. I don't know. This is bound to be a repeat if he's allowed to live. And I respect and admire your mercy on this poor soul, but
well, nobody's allowed it yet.
Yeah.
Vaklu looks over at Talia and says, "So what will it be, Your Majesty? Send me to your best detention cell. I will be free within the week, and vengeance will be mine." And Talia says, "Are you so certain of my decision, Vaklu? I appreciate the Jedi's counsel, but as monarch, I decree you guilty of treason. The punishment is death, to be carried out immediately. Captain Cadron?" And you see the soldiers starting to meet upon in front of her, kind of creating a firing squad.
Yeah.
And Vaklu starts to look a little more panicked now, realizing what's going on. As he says, "Talia, you can't. You're too weak. What about my trial?" Talia speaks up. "Your whole life has been a trial, Vaklu, but it's over now. You're right. We can't detain you. Too many people are still loyal to you. You left me no real option." Captain Cadron says, "Men ready, blasters? Aim." Talia's guards aim their blasters at Vaklu. "But you can't. This can't be. Fire!" The militia fire in unison, a direct shot at Vaklu. In a flash of bright light from the shots, Vaklu's body collapses to the floor of the palace. Talia takes a breath and says, "What is done is done. I don't think the service you have given us can ever be repaid.
Oh.
I must go with Captain Cadron. The fighting must be stopped. I will be back shortly to try and repay you. The crisis is over thanks to you and Master Kavar. I believe he'd like to speak to you if you'll excuse me."
Before you leave, instead of you repaying me, would you do me the kindness of giving me your hand? Alright, so with all of this, I impart to her all the wisdom that I've had as Empress, and what I plan to do with the capitalist empire, as I had it, in the future, and I hope that she could use that as a representative model on how she should run her planet.
Alright. I will consider this. And she walks away and says, "I will still return with an attempt of payment, as you deserve more than you wish." Alright. So, the Queen and her men leave you alone with Kavar. Give me a perception. What's your perception, by the way?
Give me a second. Perception. Maxed out.
Okay, so 5 yellow.
Yeah.
Oh. You good?
Alright, so 8 bangs, 2 advantages.
So 8
hits.
Yeah. Alright. So you do notice Kreia starting to walk off on her own again. But you are unable to keep up if you try to follow.
So am I supposed to speak with...
Well, Kavar and Mitra have already started talking, but you can join in if you wish.
I will go ahead and jump into that conversation.
Kavar says, I told the other masters that our only chance to figure out what was happening to us was to find you, and try to understand what happened to you. He's mostly speaking to Mitra, but of course, he does mean collectively, getting everybody together. I don't know how much you know, but this threat that's striking at the Jedi, it's attacking us through the Force. Vrook didn't believe me, but he was willing to travel to Dantooine if only to help the settlers there.
Right.
And perhaps protect what was left of the Jedi Enclave. Whatever the reason, having us all drop out of sight, I thought, might make the enemy more bold. But then you happened. Mitra came back and became a new target for whoever was attacking us. Why did you choose these places to hide, Mitra? Well, they were places touched by war, and we thought there was a chance you could return to these worlds, if only to try and make a peace with what happened there during the war. But now the Sith have revealed themselves. That means the remaining Jedi will gather on Dantooine. From there, we can set a counterattack.
Who would be second in charge for Talia? One of her consulate,
Well,
whatever.
at the moment, I kind of was, but I guess once I'm gone, it'll go to one of the generals.
Do you are you retiring, or are you?
Well, I'm going. I do plan to go to Dantooine, as that is the agreed plan.
Well, I've seen the the chaos that has ensued from landing into the city. I want to help with the reconstruction on that. Here is 3 billion credits to rebuild everything.
I will make sure this money gets to the Queen before I leave.
Tell them that the Jedi did it.
Yes. Mitra says, I saw a hollow recording of the Jedi Council meeting where you guys cast me out. Ah, so you heard what we said. These questions I cannot answer. This is something the Council must answer, not I. You must understand, this is hard for me, especially after all you've done. But it is necessary. Why is this hard for you? Did you know that when I was training you, I considered making you my Padawan? I didn't. The demands of the Jedi Council were too great, but I considered you a friend. I even tried to convince you to become a Jedi Guardian. We could have used someone like you. So the decision that had to be made was not easy. But I cannot say anything more. You've answered all my questions. Well, before you leave, I would like to teach you an ability.
And I will stay and listen.
And he teaches all of you, so this will be for JP as well when he gets back, so just keep a note of it.
Okay.
It is a force... It's an ability that will enhance your force powers if strain is taken.
What's it called?
There's no real name for it. So basically, if you take strain, you get an extra enhance option on your force power. Force
focus.
Force focus, yeah, we'll go with that. Now, if you will excuse me, I believe the Queen is on her way back, and I must make sure that the money is prepared to be moved where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, Talia will return, and she returns holding a box. Well, more of a... Well, it's a big box. It's a case. Think somewhere you'd put your treasure and stuff. It's chest. Yeah. Kind of like a chest, but not quite. It's got like more of like an arc type handles to it. Yeah. She hands you guys 750 credits, and then she says that these are relics from their past, and she opens it and reveals 8 different pieces. There is a helmet, armor, gloves, a belt, boots, a talisman, a ring, and a sword. You will, and basically they will grant an extra boost to your defenses except for the sword. Obviously, the sword will be an extra on your attacks.
Okay.
So obviously the party's going to want to decide who will get what piece. That will probably be a discussion for when everybody gets back.
Okay.
I'll keep the note of the different pieces for you, just so that way.
And what they do?
Yeah.
I reckon that JP will want the sword.
The sword.
The sword.
Yeah. All right. And at that point, she will grant you this, and that'll be it.
Okay. Thank you, respectfully, for this artifact.
You are very welcome. Thank you for the help.
You are most welcome.
We will never forget the heroic efforts of the Empire and the Republic and what they have done for us today.
And I'll never forget this.
So, at this point, you guys, I'm assuming, return to the camp on Duxon. So there, you find only Dusto and Leela.
What's been going on here?
And they don't look in good shape, either. They look hurt.
Okay, well, what happened?
Leela speaks up, and she says, "It's just terrible. They're dead.
Who's dead?
Mandalore. HK. Hanhar.
How did they die?
Well, we went there, and it was a Sith... we found a Sith tomb. The Sith were trying to use it. And we fought them, and they died. Dusto and I were the only ones to make it out."
So, my mind, I'm thinking, so the only two Force users in that particular grouping were the only two that survived.
Yes.
Would I be able to make that sort of connection as to why that could have happened, or?
No, that's too big of a leap, I would think.
Like, my character is actually thinking that too.
Well, what would, like... And what, what is your character? What are they guessing?
Maybe the tomb would be only allowing Force users in there, and everything else would be considered an intruder. And
that could have been. I mean, that could be something that could be perceived. Dusto will speak up and say, on a lighter note, we did find another holocron.
Were you able to retrieve it?
Yes. He holds it up.
Okay.
I have not opened it yet, as I know that you would like to open it with me.
Sounds good. And I guess Senna's here. Because the word... anything that sounds like the word holocron... I'm teleported there, motherfucker.
Alright.
Okay.
What is your No, what did we decide?
That would probably be discipline.
Whenever people are talking to each other about things? Say somebody wanted to lie.
Oh, that's deception.
Deception. Okay, thank you. No. So if you're trying to perceive the lie, though.
Oh, that's either vigilance or I can't remember. It's probably vigilance.
Okay.
Vigilance or discipline.
So what's your vigilance?
It's max.
Okay. So 5. Go ahead and do your 5 green.
So I have 5 hits, 2 triumphant.
Okay. That's all I needed. And it's at this point, once everybody's now caught up to what's going on, Kreia will suggest that she'll look at everybody and say, I suggest that we return to the ship to plan our next course of action.
Yes.
Okay, do we want to call it a night here so that way...
I mean, we can now do our little misadventure with my tree ant dude.
There's not really too much yet that we can throw him in yet.
Well, we can take him through his whole training session stuff with his master and whatnot, and what trials he might have to go through.
I know what you're talking about. We don't have to walk every little thing out for that. I think that can be background stuff.
Yeah.
All right, and since I know from here I think the party as a whole will want to be here for stuff from here. We might want to call it. Plus, it's been 2 hours. Yep. Yeah. Good game.
Yay.
Hey everyone, thank you for checking out the video. If you enjoyed what you just saw, be sure to give us a like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't want to miss any of our content, be sure to hit the bell icon where you will be notified anytime we upload a video. Also, if you wish to watch RPG Workshop live, you can follow Studio Bastion on Twitch. There you can also enjoy his gameplay live streams and other podcasts that are in production. Also, if you like what we're doing here at Escape Reality Films, be sure to check out our Patreon and support us, and get some cool rewards in return.